Yes, people. What's going on? It's Eagle Talks Football. I'm back again with another video. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the Arsenal-Chelsea game. And I'm going to have a special guest coming on. SHAUN is going to be joining us very, very soon. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know, how is everybody feeling about this midweek clash? This game that was originally supposed to be on, it was supposed to be yesterday. It was supposed to be on a Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken, or sorry, Saturday. It was supposed to be on a Saturday, and it got pushed to this Tuesday because of policing issues or something like that. But the guest that I'm going to be having on today is a big, well-known Chelsea fan. He used to be on the SDS podcast quite a bit with Sharky. He has his own channel now. Link is in the description to his channel. He said some wild things, if I might say so myself. He said Chelsea's going to be better than Arsenal very soon. He also said something across the lines that he predicted Arsenal were going to drop points against West Ham, Liverpool, Southampton, and Man City. He said that this is where the run is going to be, where everything starts to fall apart. We're also going to talk about Pochettino to Chelsea and everything around the whole game. Let me know how you guys are feeling about the game. If you're an Arsenal fan, what's your score prediction? If you're a Chelsea fan, do you have any hopes of winning this game? Can Frank Lampard get his first win at Chelsea versus Arsenal? Let me know what you guys think, because in my opinion, I think it's Arsenal are vulnerable right now. We've dropped points in a couple games. This is the first time we've gone winless in 4. If Arsenal go winless in 5, that will be an absolute shock to the system, in my opinion. It'll be a shock. And we got Chelsea fans in the chat saying get rid of Mount, Cucurella, Havertz. That's a lot of people. Koulibaly, you just brought him in. You really want to get rid of all those guys already. Arsenal can sleep and win this game. Really? Is that easy, you think it's going to be? By the way, my guest is on this way. So once he joins, we're going to get started. But let me know what you guys are saying in the chat. People, don't forget to smash that like button. We got over 74 or 5 of you guys. Big up to everyone who came from Never a Foul. And big up to everyone who also came from Lewis's channel. Shout out to you guys right there. Bottle Job FC. You know what? Fair enough. You can call us a bottle job. We bottled the league. It is what it is. We're not going to cry about it for too long. Big up. Yeah, man. Big up Skills, man. Big up. Sean's going to be joining us very soon. Once he joins, we're going to get started on that. Arsenal will smash Chelsea 8-0. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat them that convincingly. Chelsea don't score a lot of goals. Sugar Sean. Yeah, he's going to be joining very soon, man. He's going to be joining very soon. Just as we're waiting for him, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's show London is red. Bro, this season, Arsenal have been destroying Chelsea and Chelsea have been poor. Chelsea have been poor. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. And okay, so yeah, I was just messaging him, letting him know that I've already started and he should just join when he's ready. People are saying Arsenal are finished. They will lose against us. I don't think so. Come on, that is a little bit like overdoing it, I think. To say Arsenal are gonna lose to Chelsea is a little bit overdoing it, I think, because Chelsea have been so poor this season, man. Chelsea have been so poor this season. Let's see what kind of Chelsea team is expected to be out there today. Anyways, these are the kind of players that we're seeing that are expected to be playing with the Chelsea Arsenal game. Rumored to be that Aubameyang could even start, but what kind of lineup are they playing on this app? Surely that can't be the situation. Wait, who's injured for you guys? I don't even know. Damn, you guys got a lot of injuries. Reece James, Mount, Cucurella, Koulibaly, Havertz. When did all these guys get injured? I swear you didn't have this many injuries last time I checked. Chelsea have a lot of injuries. Damn, Chelsea's got a lot of injuries. What's your recent form? You guys haven't won a game in forever. You've lost all these games. Every game's a loss in your last 5. Damn. Like, at least we beat Leeds. But you guys haven't even won a game in your last 5. What is going on? And how are we expecting anything from Arteta and Arteta versus Lampard? Like, we know Arteta runs a Lampard-Arteta race. Like, when these two face off, it's always Arteta that comes on top. Right? Story of our season. Bro, this season has been shocking for you guys. I honestly don't think Chelsea can be any worse than they have been this season. I think this is probably the worst it can get. I don't see you guys getting worse than this. This is the worst I've ever seen Chelsea in my life. And like, I've seen Chelsea pre-Roman and I'll tell you this, pre-Roman, you guys weren't even this bad. Like, this is bad. Chelsea pre-Roman, if I'm not mistaken, you guys were fighting for Europe. Like, this is Chelsea right now. They are terrible. They are currently 12th in the table, 35 goals scored. The issue is you don't score goals. You guys concede. You don't concede too many goals, but you don't score goals. That's the biggest issue. But yeah, big up. We got my guy SHAUN jumping on right now. Let's get the show started. Yo, SHAUN, what's going on, man?
What's happening, Nico?
Good, man. Yo, man, it's nice to have you on the channel. Big up to you. I put the link to your channel. I put your link to your channel there. But yo, man, you have a lot to say about Arsenal, so it's perfect to have you on. You're probably confident for this game, even though you know Chelsea's been poor this season. You're probably very confident for this game, aren't you?
I wouldn't say confident still. I'll be honest, but I just have a feeling. I had a feeling a long time ago, innit? From when I put up them 6 fixtures, I felt like it was going to be a difficult period for Arsenal to get through the fatigue, the one-dimensional squad that has been playing for most of the season. I just felt that the fatigue and a couple confidence knocks to some of them fixtures that they were going to run into us or Newcastle, and then, well, obviously City. Straight after City, it's a big game, innit? So mentality-wise, I don't know, but we're all over the place. I would like to talk about matchups, but I don't know what kind of matchups we're even going to have, to be honest, because I don't know who's going to play for us.
You know what? I think that's the best way to start. Let's start with that tweet. When you posted that tweet, were you 100% sure that this was going to happen, or were you just kind of trolling? Let's be honest. Because
because I never really put up anything. You know what it is? It's just, I thought it was quite common knowledge, to be honest, to everyone, that this 6 weeks look quite difficult in terms of if they don't get the result at Liverpool, which is rare for an Arsenal team to go there and get a result anyway. That a confidence knock in that game, an away fixture in a London derby after that could be quite difficult. Obviously, the situations in both games, you had the games in your hand, so it's just made the narrative of bottling things more than anything. It's more of a bottling situation than actual not getting results out of tough fixtures.
Yeah, so and you were getting criticized bad back then.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's loads of them, but I've told a lot of them to come back outside, but they don't want to come outside. They don't want to reply. I'm waiting for
It was peak because I remember when you posted this, I'm like, come on, SHAUN. I know you. I was watching it and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay away from it. I think I replied to that tweet. But when it comes to a lot of people who did reply, they had to throw their apologies around. I don't know if you got some apologies from people, but bro, you were right about that, definitely. And the manner in which we dropped the points, you brought the bottle for a reason. In the manner in which we dropped the points, bro. Back-to-back draws felt like losses. Like, we haven't been in a title race in a long time, and you could tell by the reaction from our fan base. You've been in title races with Chelsea for years. You know how it is. But did you ever see a fan base as like not prepared for it? Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the younger fans on socials, they were not ready for this title race. They were all over the place mentally. It was crazy. I know you probably seen that.
It's a generational thing, isn't it? It's like a lot of people that are good, like going through a 10-year period of not winning anything is like, if you see 10-year-olds get to 20, it's like they've not seen anything. So it's like they're not used to being in something like that. Obviously, I'm 33, so I've been through stages where Arsenal have been competing, and when they've had a better team and like just big superstars in their team and challenging year in, year out. But obviously at this period of time when they haven't been challenging for no years, for them to then come straight in at 1 year and actually putting themselves in the running, it's an achievement. No one's saying it's not an achievement for them to get where they are this year. It's been massive. But so it's just that they're up against one of the best sides ever.
You wouldn't call the season a failure like some people do, because they say we finished the same season. We finished with the same amount of trophies as you guys if we don't win the league, obviously.
The thing is like, there's two ways of always looking at something, but it's whether... See, for me, I always felt like them games were going to be difficult, and that's what kind of leveled up the season. So it's made it tighter than what it is, than what I thought it would be, or what everyone would thought it would be. But in truth, Arsenal are going to finish, well, not where they should have finished, but they're not finishing as champions, which is the main thing. So if you look at the initial thought of someone like an Arsenal fan before the season, of course it's a successful season. It's not a failure season. It's an achievement to be where they are this season. That's why I'm saying you've got to look at it two ways. People like to look at it now and see it as they've bottled the league. They've bottled this. Okay, they've been in situations where they've had favourable positions, either games in games of being 2-0 up and stuff like that, which could have actually had them a lot more favourable at the moment than what they are. Or you look at it in the sense of, at the start of the season, if you ask an Arsenal fan, would you take second in the league from the season before? Of course, any Arsenal fan will bite your hand off. But, yeah.
And yeah, you know what? Before we get into Chelsea season, because I think Chelsea season, you're going to have a lot more to say. Did you ever believe this Arsenal team were going to win the league? Be honest.
No, of course not. No one. What do you mean? As in at the start of the season, or
no? As the season went on, did you ever say to yourself, you know what, they might actually do it?
I think Arsenal had been playing well early. I was impressed with the earlier parts of the season when they were able to graft out results from a lot of individual performances from Martinelli, a lot of early performances from Gabriel Jesus, and then obviously they won them games more convincingly than some of recent. But in terms of when they got Gabriel Jesus injured, they found ways to win games, still look half decent, so it looked good. City hadn't looked good throughout the whole. Not that they never looked good, but they weren't the old-fashioned stylistic City that would play great football, constant pressure. Obviously, they found their ways to score with Haaland as later on in the season it's got easier. But I still wasn't impressed with Arsenal's footballing throughout the majority of the season to say, is that really title winners that you're going to look back in Premier League history as saying, was that a formidable team? I don't think so. I still felt City were always going to find their stride with Haaland. I feel like their strength in depth and what takes to win a league now is more to do with strength in depth of quality rather than just a starting 11.
And you know what? Just before we go into Chelsea, final topic. Do you think that was our best opportunity to win it? Or do you think we could still compete next season? Because, we've already had conversations about this in spaces. I genuinely believe we can compete again next year for the title. Do you think the same thing?
I think it's a lot more difficult. I don't think they will, personally. It's not a rivalry thing. It's just the fact that I feel like a lot of results went favourable for Arsenal later on in the season where they snatched a couple of results that have kept them in the title race. The quality in terms of depth that you're going to have for next season, if the real people spend the money that they need to spend, you can definitely be in and around it. Not even so much us, like money doesn't always buy you quality, but money has to show itself in terms of depth in quality. I feel like you need one or two, like we were talking about on Spaces, we talk about the cover at right back of what the decisions were in January to not get a cover of a right back, knowing that if you get an injury at centre back or right back, then it becomes a problem. But if you cover certain areas of the pitch, you can definitely be in and around it. We don't know what City's going to be like. We don't know whether Pep's going to leave. If Pep leaves and Pep is not here and City are not the same team, obviously Arsenal have a chance if they strengthen their depth, because I feel like United are not far away. I feel like United are quite close in terms of getting things right. Like, as much as certain results haven't gone well for them in terms of how they've managed the game, we question Ten Hag's substitutions in recent games. But I don't think Man United are a million miles away. I don't know what it is with Liverpool. I don't know whether it's like if they need a change in manager or if they need just heavy investment into their midfield. But I don't think they're a million miles away. They've got good quality players in their team. I think they've got a good. In terms of depth, I still think they need more depth than probably what you need. But they're not a million miles away. Chelsea, I never know what to get with this Chelsea team, to be honest. Year in, year out, we've been here before. We've finished 10th. We've won the league the next season. I don't know what to expect from us until we see it to next season. I've never seen Chelsea in a position like this before. So even in 10th.
Get into Chelsea's this season then, because I was going to segue into that anyways. So take it away.
Yeah.
Thomas Tuchel getting sacked. Todd Boehly, is he ruining Chelsea? What do you think about Pochettino, Frank Lampard? There's so many different things. Just let me know, where do you want to begin?
There's loads of things. I think it was quite evident when Roman left that we were going to always have a lot of issues. Obviously, Marina was our person dealing with all the transfers. She had to go. Roman went. Tuchel was obviously in charge. The only thing that Chelsea fans really felt we were hanging on to was the fact that we had a very good manager in Tuchel, managing a squad that wasn't necessarily the greatest, but found ways to win, whether it was cup-wise. It doesn't matter to me. If you can compete in the Champions League and you're able to win games in the Champions League, I couldn't care less. If I won the Champions League every year, didn't win the Premier League, I wouldn't be fussed. But that was the only benefit we had, is having Todd Boehly. It was having Thomas Tuchel. So that when Todd Boehly came in and sacked Thomas Tuchel, it was like, boy, we didn't have much in terms of the squad quality of what we had there, or playing wise, other than having Tuchel finding ways to win games. So when Todd came in and made that decision, obviously everyone was a bit unhappy, or there were question marks over what the decisions were. But Todd coming in, I always said that I liked his attitude when he first came in, because at the end of the day, he did sack Tuchel. I thought it was a wrong decision. But I always like a person that says, for me to make money, I need to spend money. So when he came in and said that, I said, you know what, I'll get behind him, because anybody that says that you're going to invest money, I'm here for it. But obviously the decisions that come with that, you can have money, but having the knowledge of what to do with that money is something else. And the money that we've spent...
Before you continue on the money part, we just need to get back to Thomas Tuchel quickly. People in the chat are saying Thomas Tuchel, what you report under Thomas Tuchel, and people are saying it was justified to sack him because of the issues that they were having, in addition to the performances that weren't as good. What do you think about that? Was it not justified?
Yeah, like in terms of the end of the season, in terms of the league, when we were getting to the back straight of it, like maybe the last 5-10 games, we weren't necessarily great. We were already qualified kind of in the Champions League anyway. We weren't really a problem. Couldn't win the league. So it's like in the period that we are in now, it's like we're in a tanking period where games don't matter. It doesn't really affect us. We was in the top 4 back then. Like where we are now, it doesn't really affect us if we win games or not. I think it was quite evident that our squad wasn't good enough. I feel like through the majority of the start of the season that year, we had Reece James, we had Ben Chilwell available. Obviously, they got injured, and for what quality we did have in the system, that was the reason why we was where we was. So having Reece James and Ben Chilwell was massive for us not having them in that system, because if you change just Azpilicueta to Reece James, it changes things drastically. So we were competing when we had those kind of players available. Once they become unavailable, obviously we had to change. We kept the same system for a long time, but them players couldn't facilitate them positions. The 5-3-2 system that we play, or the 5-2-3-1, or whatever you want to call it, it just didn't suit. It didn't suit the players that we had, and we didn't have that quality in terms of the positions to be able to sustain how we was playing. So naturally, we fell off. I don't think it was much of a Tuchel problem.
Okay. Do you blame Graham Potter for the situation you're in, or Todd Boehly more?
Sorry, say that again.
Who do you blame more for the season that you're having right now, Graham Potter or Todd Boehly?
I blame Graham Potter because at the end of the day, Todd made his decision. Todd made his decision based on the project that he saw in the future. Graham Potter showed that he was able to make a Brighton side look half decent, develop youngsters, bring through certain players. He had faith in him. Whether I thought he had the ability to take on Chelsea was a different thing. But in terms of what we had available, I didn't see major improvements in a lot of players. I didn't see the way we played any different. I thought we regressed. Todd is just an investor. Todd is an owner, just like everyone, just like most of these owners. They're multi-billionaires. Not everyone has a passion for football, and not everyone's going to know how to operate in football and know the connections to deal with who you have to get in football for recruitment, for how you're going to play. Todd don't know about football. He's already admitted that. So him putting in place a coach, I always look for the coach and players to be the most held responsible people for the way we play.
I think because it's his first season, I'm not going to write off Todd Boehly. But what I'm going to say is I think this whole season, you guys being 12th is mostly on him. And it's not a situation because maybe it's because he had too much say, or maybe it was because the ownership did too much early, and like getting rid of Marina, as you've already said, getting rid of all these people, or these people leaving, too much change too quickly is not good. And Roman Abramovich's era and this era is yet to show that Chelsea can be successful under new ownership. I know it's early, but I'm not saying they're never going to be successful. I'm just saying the decisions they've made so far doesn't show that they're making the right decisions to lead you guys in the right direction. Maybe Pochettino could be that step to make you guys go in the right decision in the right era. But I want to know, what do you think about Pochettino? Because I never spoke to you about this.
Pochettino that comes from Todd Boehly. Like, that's why when you said that you give Todd Boehly the time, as long as Todd Boehly knows to rectify mistakes, that's all that matters. So him sacking Graham Potter, no one thought he was going to sack Potter. We thought he was going to be wrong and strong, stay wrong and strong, and keep him on board and see if he could develop it from next year by either signing new players or whatever. But as long as he's shown that he knows that he can change things when he knows that he's wrong, then that's all that matters. So him now looking towards Pochettino, it's a thing where personally as Chelsea fans, well, I don't know, I don't speak for everyone, but for me, I never want that. Chelsea never do business with Tottenham. In terms of Chelsea never really buy from Tottenham. Chelsea only ever really sell to Tottenham if we don't want the players anymore.
What about Glenn Hoddle?
Yeah, Glenn Hoddle is the only example that we had, and that was a long time ago. It was probably a lot harder to deal with back then. Obviously, I was very, very young, but I'm not too sure of how it went down at Chelsea when Glenn Hoddle come in. But I don't know. Maybe it's because he was English. They kind of allowed him a little bit more, but I don't know. But in terms of the natural fans, not many people ever like dealing with Tottenham or even Liverpool, even when we had Rafa Benitez.
But you won't care, Sean, if you're successful with him, obviously. But
yeah, of course. It's like you can have two different outlooks on it. You can see it as a thing where, because Pochettino never won anything with Tottenham, it's a thing where if you're able to then win something with a manager that couldn't win something with Tottenham, it's like people can laugh at Tottenham by saying, we were able to give your manager a trophy, you lot couldn't. There's two ways. There's always different ways of how you can look at it. But I'm not in the position that Chelsea are in. I can't really moan about the appointment of Pochettino because we're in such a bad place and we can't stay in somewhere for too long because it becomes a natural habit and then it becomes very hard for people to invest into something that is continuously not going well. So
let me say this. This whole thing where, he's from Tottenham, I don't want him. Yeah. I don't think is the right way to view it. You should view it as, is he a good enough manager to improve your squad? Does he have a philosophy? You have to look at him as a person, not where he came from, because where he came from is just a part of his history. The reality is what he could do for you guys could be great. But I think he's destined for failure because of the fact that your fan base is so quick to turn on managers. You can't turn on him because of his history. You should turn on him if he doesn't perform or win you trophies. But do you think you'll never give him the same level of trust that people gave Graham Potter when he first walked in? Or do you think he'll be given more trust because of the situation you're in right now?
I wouldn't necessarily agree with the fact that we don't give managers time, because I know obviously in the past, it's happened in terms of success-wise. If we're not successful, we end up changing managers very, very quickly. But in terms of the Potter thing, the fans were very, very patient with Graham Potter. We were really bad at certain areas at certain times of the year, and we were always giving him chances. We didn't really get onto him too much. Only till it really started to matter that people were starting to boo the performances at the end of the game. I think we were very fair to Graham Potter. And I think that I think most fans will. I think the most generic fans will find a way to get behind Pochettino. I don't think many. I think the very old-fashioned Chelsea fans might not be happy with it, but they're not the most vocal. But
a lot of the young fans in the chat, or some of the fans that I know regular, are saying he gets a clean slate, and I think that's fair. I think that's how it should.
Yeah, it will be. I go to most games. I'll be giving him a clean slate, to be honest. I'm not happy with it, but I'm not vocal enough to want to boo someone when he doesn't really deserve to be booed. he tried to find ways with Tottenham to win, and that's all he can do. That was his job. Obviously, we don't like Tottenham, but at the same stage, it's more of a thing where Chelsea fans really, truthfully, they should always hate Tottenham as a club. But in terms of the managers and the players, if we're able to get some of their better managers or better players to come to Chelsea, then it should be welcome, to be honest. So I've had lots of time to think about what I felt about it, but I'm not fussed. As long as he can come and deliver, that's all that matters. If he doesn't come and deliver, I'm not someone to get mad quickly over someone over like even one season. Players' performances. Someone like Didier Drogba was like rubbish for us for a season. He became one of Chelsea's greatest ever strikers. Things can change very quickly as long as they've got the ability and show that they've got the ability. Then I'm here to wait. I'm here to give them time. So if I can see a philosophy, it's like Arteta with you lot. Arteta over the past couple of years, results haven't always gone great in terms of when he's been an appointment. But you saw something. You saw a change in philosophy. You saw a change in shift of how the team is playing. Yeah, the improvement. As long as you see that when you're trying, at least you're trying. Do you know what I mean? You're not trying to play a low block, knock the ball up the pitch kind of style of football. If you show a philosophy that you're trying to get to, I'm here to wait for it. I don't mind that. But you have to show me signs of improvement or signs of quality.
Okay, let's talk about Frank Lampard, interim manager, hasn't won a game yet. You think this could be the game where you finally win a game?
Well, I'm trying to go 5 for 5. So I'm hoping that we can get a result. Even a result, I'm happy with, to be honest, because he needs a result. But it's hard, man. As much as my run's been going well, even for West Ham and Southampton, I just don't know. Chelsea always seem to find a way to turn up. Yeah, Chelsea always seem to find a way to get a result against Arsenal in certain big games. Chelsea are the biggest party poopers there ever is. Chelsea always find ways to ruin the party. They ruin the Tottenham party. Like we just ruin people's. Like when we don't need to win, we'll end up winning, or we end up getting a result. So I'm not sure, but I just don't know what team he's going to put out. Frank's been so poor with the team selections recently, and now we know that we haven't got Reece and Mason available. I feel like two of our better players that has been proven over the past couple of years are not available. So it's going to look very weird. Like I said, I would like to think of the matchups. I just don't know what team is actually going to be put out there.
We're going to look at that in a second. Just before we do that, people in the chat, do me a favor, hit that goddamn like button. We almost have 115 of you guys in the chat, and we only have like 60 likes. Please do hit that like button. It's absolutely free. Helps out the channel a lot, guys. Don't forget to do that. And also, we're going to look at the predicted lineups. But before we do that, Sean, shouldn't we kind of look back at some of the matchups that we've had over the years at the Emirates and away from home? Because I feel like those teams, looking back at them, it's always fun looking back at teams. Like I can even show you any game that comes to your mind right away when you think about traveling to the Emirates. What would that be?
It's weird. It's like it seems like we've obviously over the past 3 seasons, I don't think we've been great in terms of the matchups we've had against Arsenal, other than the last season home victory that we had not home victory, the away victory that we had at yours. I don't think we've had a result picked up in terms of a win in the last 3 seasons. I can't remember. Have we had a win in the last 3 seasons against you lot at home or away, other than the one last season?
Let me show you guys. This is the head-to-head section where we look back at previous games. So I have here every single game that we played since 2010 on here, and we can see the lineup of the teams. So we can go all the way back to 2010. You see Arsenal won, draw, Chelsea win in 2012. You want to see what the team was back then? Let's see what the team was back then.
I don't know. In terms of relevance, obviously these teams aren't relevant. Obviously at the time you can look back in history and say, right, what good teams actually got results or who was the underdogs in the games? Because as of recent years, you were underdogs against us in a lot of these games. Like the 4-0, the 4-2 win away from home. Obviously, you were underdogs in that game. You won that game. The 2-0 win, obviously, club friendlies is irrelevant.
This one is the one we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a club friend. That's irrelevant. I never take friendlies serious. just in general, all of your games, like most of your games, you were underdogs in a lot of those games. Other than, I don't think you've ever been favourites.
This is the one you're talking about, though. Lampard, I think Tammy Abraham scored.
That was the late comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah. This game, I remember Jorginho came on, changed the game, won you guys that game. And Lamptey came off the bench also.
William actually did play well that game. He was very good. But
that was all on Callum Chambers and Mustafi just being silly.
If you look at them two lineups, like we didn't have the greatest of sides. Like Aspi was still right wing back and Emerson was left wing back. But even in your team, you have obviously Özil, Aubameyang, Lacazette, good quality there. But other than that, you had your Guendouzi's, your Nelsons, your Maitland-Niles, Chambers.
You've come a long way.
Yeah, you've come a long way from that lineup. So it's a thing where both of those teams didn't look the greatest at the time, and the context of where we was is obviously in the transfer ban. So we got a result. That was probably one of the more evenly matched sides where anything could have happened. But of recent years, of all them kind of lineups, look at them lineups there. Other than that 2-0 victory last season,
we
haven't had a win.
This game was just Lukaku baptizing friggin' Rob Holding and Pablo Mari.
First game of the season.
That center half pairing was never going to get anything from that game. And
Reece James had a very, very good game that game. Tierney was under the ropes on that right-hand side a lot.
Bro, we didn't defend him. We literally, Tierney was on mount and Reece James was free every single time the whole game. We should have played a back three that game.
Yeah, it's just look at that's what I mean. When you're defensively not looking great, you shouldn't have to always go to having to play your always go-to formation. Sometimes you have to mix it up. That's what we've been talking about recently in terms of even this year. We've been talking about tactically why hasn't Arteta dealt with other certain games in certain ways when they haven't had the availability of certain players.
But you know what? I just want to go back to this game right here because I feel like this is the game where was the turning point? I would say where was the turning point game? The game that we won at the Emirates that shocked everybody. Was that no?
The 4-0 or sorry, that's the club friendly.
No, this can't be it. Where was the game where Saka and Emile Smith Rowe won? Was it this one where Lampard got sacked?
It must have been I'm not too sure. I think it might have been the 1-0 away it's got to be one of those two fixtures. I'm pretty sure.
Because I remember Lampard getting sacked after a fixture. Was it the 1-0 fixture that Lampard got sacked, or was it the 3-1?
I'm not too sure. I can't remember. I can't even remember when he got sacked. It's been that long.
Yeah, because I think it was this one right here. Because we beat you. Saka scored, Xhaka goal, Lacazette, Project Youth, Emile Smith Rowe's first game starting at the for Arsenal. This is where Project Youth began. This is where Project Youth began, and this was the game that started our whole new process. Because from this day onwards, we said to ourselves, we're going to play the youngsters. We're going to forget about Lacazette. We're going to forget about Aubameyang. We're going to focus on the youngsters. And Martinelli, Saka, and Emile Smith Rowe, from that moment onwards, carried us to where we are currently right now. Xhaka became a staple in the team. And as you can see from the rest of the team, only people who are really left in this team that are starters are Xhaka, Martinelli, and Saka. Everyone else has been replaced, where on your team, you pretty much have a very similar team to what you still have.
Yeah,
Besides,
other than
the front three.
Yeah, about four players. Other than Zuma and the front three.
Yeah.
Everything's about the same.
It's crazy, eh? This was our turning point. And that game was the game that I remember. This is the game that I remember that changed both clubs' histories. Because this game was the game you sacked Lampard and you went on to go win the Champions League. This is the game that we won that pushed Arteta on to getting more time with Arsenal. Because if it wasn't for this game, Project Youth would have never happened.
Yeah, it was definitely integral. Obviously, we sacked Lampard not too long after that because we won the Champions League that year. But 100%. I think Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Saka were massively important to the way how you transition in terms of bringing through them players as young as they were. Because obviously, at a time when I feel like it was also quite easy for Arsenal to do that at a stage because Arsenal had gone for quite a long period of time without putting themselves in and around the Champions League or in and around the league. So them Arteta going and punting for those kind of guys, it's a bit easier than normal. I don't think it's as pressurized as what he could have, what it would have been if he was up there. But it was definitely the right decision, and it was definitely the better turning point for Arsenal to put the faith in Martinelli and Saka out wide.
Yeah, where's ESR now? Emile Smith Rowe has been struggling with injuries, and he hasn't played much this season. I hope that he can get himself back going, but the reality is, the stage that we're at, if Emile Smith Rowe can't stay fit, we're gonna have to view his future at the club. That's the reality.
The way he's been, the rumors and all that kind of stuff of how he's been treating himself and how he's been treating his body over the past period of time since he's been injured hasn't been the greatest. Obviously, there's been a few images of him not looking slim at all at the moment. So how he has to treat himself and how he deals with himself whilst he's not fit is or injured is a problem. So
yeah, his future is in question, but that is the ruthlessness that we need. In order to,
because you lot have shown quality. Like the thing is that it's mad because he was at the point of like some of the qualities that Emile Smith Rowe was possessing and showing was one of your better players in terms of performances in that transition period. So for someone like him to now automatically just go off the grid is mad. Like I think there should be massive pressure around him getting back fit. If you lot can force him to get back fit, then obviously you can see that he's a talented kid.
You know what? I think I misspelled something. Anyways, let's continue to the next point. Forget about Trossard and Mudryk for a second, but do you think going back to a January window, did you think Mudryk was going to be this poor?
I didn't think he would be this bad. It's hard because we've not played well, and I think it's always, unless you're Eden Hazard special, I don't feel like as if anybody's able to carry a team by themselves. I think the team has to still play quite well for someone to even be able to express themselves. But I didn't expect him to be this bad in terms of like his first touches. A lot of Chelsea fans have been saying that his first touch under control has been quite poor. He's been dispossessed quite a lot in terms of when he takes his first touch. For Arsenal, I always said that it would always made more sense. Why would you want to sign someone who's obviously clearly needs time to develop or clearly needs time to readjust to fitness because he hasn't played in Ukraine for God knows how many months? Trossard, who was a current performing Premier League player, was always going to be the right option in terms of squad depth. And I said that to Livs when it was at the time. As much as Chelsea fans like to mock Arsenal fans for stealing their talented scouting people and all that kind of stuff and the player that they wanted, yeah, you can laugh at it, but it was always going to be the better decision to get Trossard in.
Okay, fair enough. That's a fair point. Going into this game, let me show you the predicted lineups that they have, and let me know if you would rate this lineup.
I haven't seen a predicted lineup. I haven't even looked for. I haven't even been looking at anything to do with Chelsea.
This is the predicted lineup. Arsenal, that's probably spot on. Although I would try to do something different with Partey or Rob Holding. I think Partey's been poor. Play Jorginho, and I would also say Rob Holding. It is what it is at this point. But just play Jorginho because I think Partey's been shocking, and maybe start Trossard. Jesus can get a break, but that's the only changes I would make. What about yourself?
Looking at my team, I doubt Loftus-Cheek will start. Other than that, see, like I said to you, guys, I genuinely don't know whatever lineup he's ever going to play. In terms of what is available, this team is probably not far off what we have available in terms of the best possible team we have. Mount's not there, Reece James ain't there. We haven't really got any strikers other than Kai Havertz playing up top, and he's been quite poor for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if he resorts back to trying to play Kai Havertz in this game. But
isn't he injured? Because I looked at the injury report. Havertz is on the
Is he in there?
Doubtful.
Okay, yeah. So if he's doubtful, then yeah, then this is what I'm saying. This is kind of what we have available.
Yo, you guys got a lot of injuries, man. What's going on?
We've got a lot of injuries. But that probably is not too far off. Other than probably Azpilicueta or Trevor Chalobah might be played as a right centre back. Badiashile is I'm sure Badiashile is available now.
Yeah, he is.
I'm pretty sure if Badiashile is available, that Badiashile will be playing where Chalobah's playing, and Chalobah might be in the right wing back. I think that's the only two changes that would probably be made. Chalobah going right wing back, and then Badiashile playing left centre back. I don't understand what it's been with Chelsea recently. How Badiashile has not started for Chelsea in every Premier League game has been beyond me, to be honest.
Is this setup accurate though? Conte's playing as like the right center attacking mid.
He's been playing that. He was playing that under Sarri. Like Kante's been that more advanced midfielder, where rather than, obviously it can look as more of a two-man kind of up front thing with Mudryk being alongside Sterling. That's why it doesn't really make. It doesn't in shape wise. It doesn't look great because Mudryk's obviously a winger. You want him to be out wide, but how in-game games will go, we will probably be attacking that left-hand side a lot more than what we would be on the right-hand side. Kante will get into open spaces, sometimes carry it, but obviously Arsenal are not going to be worried about what Kante does on the ball most of the time. So most of the focus will probably be down that left-hand side if Mudryk starts. But we don't really have...
What happened to Kovacic? People saying, please, no Kovacic. Like, I thought Chelsea fans rated Kovacic. People want Aubameyang.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty like we probably have the most weirdest fan base in terms of the agendas and people that like certain players, don't like certain players. Where we have been playing this season and how we've been playing this season, Mount hasn't been a great player for us this season. He hasn't performed well this season, but he's one of our better players. I feel like as if until a manager can deal with the right squad and deal with the right players in the right manner, we can't just automatically start throwing out people. So like people like Kovacic, if you go to see Kovacic live in the flesh, you'll realise how dynamic of a midfielder he is and what he can give to a team. Where we're asking for him to do things, we're asking for him to do too much. In this lineup, in this team, we lack creativity. We don't create chances. We've got midfielders that are having to do so much work off the ball, on the ball. We've got two of the best midfielders, arguably, in the world that are as dynamic as they are to deal with having to do what we have to do. If we didn't have Kante and Kovacic over the past couple of years, we'd be a lot worse than where we are now.
Okay. Yeah, every fan base has toxic fans, though. It's not just Chelsea. People saying Chelsea fans are the toxic agenda merchants. Honestly, I do somewhat agree because I see a lot of Mason Mount hate. I see a lot of Mason Mount love. And I feel like you guys have a lot of divisive figures in your fan base like that. But none other more than Mason Mount. I don't think I've seen a player who gets more like criticism and love from this from a fan base in so hot and cold. Like, I don't know. What do you think about Mason Mount? Because he's linked to Liverpool, he's linked to Arsenal. Like, are you one of those people who are on one side or the other, or are you kind of in the middle with him?
I'm just very like straightforward. Like I'm never biased towards anyone. It's a thing where I'll always tell you if a player's not performing well. Like Mason Mount has not performed well this season, even in scenarios where individually he could be doing things better. In terms of a team, when people like to criticize players based on team performances, I've always said like it's a bit weird when people expect much more from a player when he hasn't really been given the chances. But when you get given isolated situations where you're able to execute based on your own talent, that's where I'll criticize you. And I think Mount hasn't been great at certain things this season, but in terms of his qualities, is undoubtedly shown that he's been one of our better players over the last 4 years. And he's been a young player, like carrying a Chelsea side that's been quite poor over the past couple of years. So yeah,
he's overhated.
Yeah, he's overhated. I think like there's a lot of. I feel like with our fan base on Twitter, it depends. Like if you go to the games, a lot of fans that go to games and the local fans and the proper fans that go to watch these players, they're in support of the better players. I feel like as if you just have on Twitter, there's a lot of toxic people on Twitter where they're agenda driven. They like the foreign players more than English talent. They have an agenda against English talent and people that are English, hyping up English players, and they've got their own preferences because of maybe they followed players from other teams or they support teams from other countries as well. And then they get behind certain players because the João Felix thing, it was weird for me because when João Felix came in, João Felix was supposed to be the player that is going to start creating more for us and actually start improving us. We haven't seen many differences between what anybody's given us, whether it's Mount, Raheem, Mudryk, Pulisic, anything. He has looked tidy on the ball.
That's on recruitment. I'm not gonna lie. You guys recruited him and didn't have a plan on how to use him, and then the manager who brought him in also didn't know what he was doing with him. And now it seems like Frank Lampard.
What player?
João Felix. I feel like all these players that you have, I don't feel like they all fit. Hence why the recruitment is the problem. You have so many different players from so many different people trying to sign them, so many different pots trying to figure out what was going on. Post-Roman era, pre-Roman era, you can't really, it's really going to take one manager to figure out how everyone's going to work. And I don't think you should even buy João Felix unless you know where you're going to play him.
Well, they're saying that they're going to extend his contract in terms of the loan, but the loan is very expensive. But I don't know whether that's the best possible way to go around it. If it doesn't affect Todd Boehly, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. But yeah, if it doesn't affect Todd Boehly, then I'm not really bothered about whether or not we keep him on the loan. I think João Felix is a quality player. I feel like obviously the recruitment thing is a massive thing, what you mentioned, but it's a thing where I feel like Chelsea had so much faith in Kai Havertz leading the line and him showing that, well, not every team needs to play a number 9 recently nowadays. Like people have been able to win league titles with people that, like Gabriel Jesus playing at City, with Bobby Firmino being at Liverpool. You don't have to have a clear in and out number 9, as long as the team can contribute to goals. And I feel like they put so much faith in Kai Havertz leading the line that they felt that these players were around him could find ways to score goals. But João Felix hasn't found ways. Mount hasn't found ways. Sterling hasn't found ways around Kai Havertz. So I feel like it's a shift now where we have to focus more on the fact that we need to actually find a number 9 that can score goals.
Fair enough. Let me just read the super chat. Big up True Blue Clay saying thoughts on this lineup, Sean. Thiago Silva, Badia Chile. I think that's Ben Chilwell, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Chalaba on the right wing back. Enzo, Conte, Mudryk, left wing back, I guess. And then Felix, Havertz, or Sterling, and then Aubameyang up top. I think Mudryk left wing back will not be defensive enough at all to help you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want him to clarify it, because obviously that team there can also. Oh, he's actually saying a 4, so he's not saying a wing back. So he's saying Chalobah to play right back. So I've been very skeptical of if Chalobah plays right back, you'll be playing Martinelli on the left hand side. I don't think that's a great matchup for Chalobah. I wouldn't be confident in playing Chalobah isolated in a back 4, because he's looked very shaky this year. Even in a back 5, when he's been run at, he's been very poor. And even when he's played at right wing back with the support of a centre half covering him, he's still also been very poor. So I wouldn't actually look towards going in the Chalobah kind of range as much as, but it's the availability thing. So if we're going to play Chalobah, you're more than likely going to have to play a 5. It's going to be very risky to go and play fight fire with Martinelli against Chalobah. But obviously he's saying Enzo, Kante pivot, and then Mudryk, Felix, Sterling in behind a Havertz or Aubameyang. Kai was Kai available? Or was he injured? Did you say was Kai available? Kai had a knee injury.
I thought he was. I thought Kai Havertz was injured in the thing that I seen. It looked like he was injured, but he's doubtful. He's not injured. He's just doubtful. That means he could be available. Doubtful could mean he could play, or it could just be mind games. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's serious, right?
I don't know. Not that I've heard of, but
I know Reece James out for the season.
Yeah, Reece is out for the rest of the season, so I don't mind that formation. It's just literally the Chalobah matchup isn't going to be great for me. But in terms of an attacking side that can go to Arsenal, and Chelsea have found it very hard to create with the back 5. Maybe throwing an extra person in the attack might help us, but I don't mind it. Like it's not going to affect us. It's not an important game for us, so I wouldn't mind going to attack the game rather than sit there and try and just frustrate Arsenal and play a back 5. So I wouldn't mind that formation. I think Aubameyang or Havertz has been. I think it's either or. I think it's quite similar when you play him. I think maybe if you play Aubameyang, he might get himself a bit more raised. He might find a bit more energy to want to score back against Arsenal. Who knows? But we've tried him in previous Arsenal Chelsea matchups, and it hasn't been great.
You know what? We're gonna have to see what the lineup holds. I know from the moment I see the lineup, Chelsea's lineup, what kind of game you guys are looking to play. Because
I'm going to be there tomorrow as well, so hopefully.
I wish I could come. I had tickets to the Saturday game. Once they changed the game, I couldn't go anymore. But final thing, score prediction, and do you honestly believe Chelsea will be better than Arsenal next season?
Score predictions. I'll go for a 2-2. I'll go for a 2-2 I'll go for a 2-2 result, and I'll go for a 2-2 result, and I'll go for what you said about in terms of Chelsea next season. I don't know, man. That is the $1 million question. I have to back us. I have to say we are going to be better than you lot next season, but I don't know what to expect from us next season.
Okay, so you're backing your boys.
I have to back my boys.
But you don't know exactly. It could change. Basically, you're depending on what you guys.
I don't know what manager we're going to have. I don't know what personnel we're going to have. So it's very hard to say. For now, obviously, you'd have to go with Arsenal. But in terms of what the prospects of what we possibly can have, I have to back the boys.
You know what? It is what it is. I think a lot of people say that Chelsea is going to be good next season and Arsenal is not going to be, because we're in the Champions League. We'll have to compete in the Champions League and in the Premier League. But I honestly do believe we can challenge again next season as long as we improve the squad and we see a linear improvement from this season. But for predictions for me, I know Chelsea don't concede too many goals. Arsenal are going to be at home. I think it's going to be a 2-0 Arsenal victory. This whole 7-6 smash Chelsea 5-0, it's not going to happen. As bad as you guys have been, you don't lose to teams by more than 2 goal in the margins. That's just the reality. What's the biggest loss you've had this season? I don't remember you guys losing by a lot.
For what I can remember, what's been in terms of a bad performance? I know we've lost a 3-1. I think we've lost a 3-1 in a bad game against a bad side.
Real Madrid beat you 3-1, no?
Yeah, in terms of the Premier League, I think we've had a 3-1 somewhere across the line. We've had a loss. We haven't lost by more than a 2-goal lead. I don't think.
No, that's not happening. We're not going to. They're not going to concede 4 goals. Oh, didn't City beat you 4-0?
In the cup or the league?
In the cup, they beat you bad, right?
Yeah, in the cup, yeah. But in terms of the league, I don't think we've lost to anyone really massively in the league.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just looking at Chelsea's defense. As bad as you've been, your defense has been good. So I wouldn't expect us to concede too many goals. But 2-goal margin, 2-0 Arsenal. We need to win this game because we need to still try to stay in it as much as we can.
You have to. You can't lose this game. If you lose this game or you don't win this game, if you draw or lose, I think it's the nail in the coffin.
Bro, the league was already done the moment we lost to City.
It's not though, Igor.
It is theoretically, City can drop points almost twice and still win. So
Chelsea, listen, who would have thought that City would have been 2-0 down against Aston Villa in the last game of the season?
Oh yeah,
last season
4-1.
Yes, that was it. Brighton.
That was a bad one. Still, West Ham smashed City. What? No.
Oh, he's trying to say West Ham smashed City 4-0.
You're crazy. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
But you still have to have belief. Like, if you don't believe that you could possibly beat Chelsea and then hope that Chelsea can get a result against City, like, you have to have some belief. I just feel that if you don't win this game, then I think it is over.
You want to know something? Last season, up until even the last game of the season, I believe that Tottenham were going to bottle it and we're going to get top 4. This season, the moment we drop points against Liverpool, I still believe we could win the league. We drop points against West Ham, I still believe we could win the league. When we drop points against Southampton, that's when I sat there and just sat there the whole day and just said, bro, it's done. Like, I looked at myself and I said, "It's done. We're not going to go to City's ground and take all 3 points and smash them. We're not going to win it." And I psyched myself out, ready to go last week, thinking, you know what, maybe we can do something. Maybe I should believe. But then we lose in the fashion that we did, and it's like that's not a team that's going to go winless for the remaining 6 games of the season, bro. That's just not.
I don't know. You never know. I always say you have to have faith.
This is you that cheer me up. I appreciate it, because
it's not even that. Like it's genuinely it's a thing where I've been in situations where you feel like as if there's no point of return from whether it's one game or whether it's from a couple of games. Like I've been through hard times in Champions League fixtures where you think you're down and out, and you end up coming back in a return fixture with a whole different style of play. So it's just mentality, bro. It's like if you feel defeated, you're going to be defeated. You have to still have the confidence. I will know whether Arsenal still feel confident within the first 5 minutes of that game tomorrow.
You know what? It is what it is. At this moment in time, I haven't conceded the league. We still need to fight. In the case of City drop points, I agree with you. But mentally, I don't think we're going to lose. I don't think City are going to drop enough points for us to win the league. Hence why I'm focusing my mindset on looking past this season and saying we need to continue to improve for next season and just don't drop too many points from now until the end of the season. I want to at least get close to 90 points. You know what I mean? But yeah, if we lose to Chelsea, you're going to run with the agenda that you ended our title hopes. And I don't want that.
That's going to happen.
I don't want that. But yeah, big up, guys. Big up, everyone. I have to go. Yeah. Sean, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I really do appreciate it. And guys, don't forget to check out Sean's channel. Link is in the description, in the title of the video. And bro, man, hope to have you on in the future next time we're talking about Chelsea or something. And
hopefully, man.
You know what I mean? Make sure you do check out Sean's channel. We got 77 likes on the video. Make sure you can get that up to at least 100. And we're out of here, people. Have a good one. Peace out.
Thank you.